This is our farm in the mountains of Guatemala. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and Mom's waking me up for school. My name is Mary Elena and I'm 7 years old. I live here with my mom and dad, my 10-year-old brother Mariano, my younger sister Beatrice, and my grandmother. We grow coffee and macadamia nuts on our farm. We also milk cows and sell some of the milk and cream in town. Sarah works for us by helping out in the kitchen. We have both an electric and a gas stove in case one or the other doesn't work. But today Sarah doesn't have to use either one because I'm having cornflakes and orange juice for breakfast. It takes about 15 minutes to get to our school in town, so it's time to get going. We have to leave enough time to drop off our milk and cream at the store before we go to school. Mom teaches kindergarten at a school near the one I go to, so she drops me off on her way to work. Beatrice is in my mom's class, so they go to school together. We start out each school day with exercise. Most Guatemalans love sports, especially football, which some people call soccer. Maybe you noticed that we don't have any boys here. That's because this is a Catholic school for girls. About half the people in Guatemala are Catholics. There are hundreds of students in our school, and we have about 50 kids in our class. We start our class with a prayer. Our teacher is reminding us to be thankful for our family members, school director, teachers, and all the girls at school. In our first class, we're listening to the sound the balloon makes when the air is going out to help us pronounce the Z sound. Then we'll practice the sound with vowels. While I'm in school, Mom's teaching her class. Her school has both boys and girls. Here in Guatemala, half of the students go to school in the morning and half in the afternoon. Morning students like me start class at 7:30 and finish at 1 o'clock. Afternoon classes go from 1 o'clock until 5. Kids in this class are telling about all the things they did before coming to school. Washing our hands, face, and mouth, having breakfast, hugging Mom, and greeting the teacher. Mom only teaches in the morning, so she takes Beatrice and me home with her when she finishes work. While we are at school, Dad's busy back at the farm. He's deciding what supplies we need to buy and how many workers we need to help keep the farm running. He also has to figure out how much coffee and nuts we'll have to sell and what price we can get when we sell them. 14 people live and work full-time here on the farm. When the coffee harvest starts in November, we'll need 200 more people to help do the picking. We have 2 seasons here, the rainy season and the dry season. It's June now, so it's the rainy season. Mornings are usually sunny and nice like this, and almost every afternoon we get rain. This is coffee we harvested last winter. After we pick coffee, it goes through lots of steps before it's ready to be sold. This machine is separating the coffee beans from their outside cover. The bean is the part that we sell, and the outer cover that we take off is put back into the soil. We roast the beans in this machine. The operator keeps checking to be sure they don't burn. When the coffee is roasted just the right amount, we grind it and put it in bags with our company's name. Then they're ready to sell. Our coffee company and our farm are called Finca Las Merceditas. They're named after Saint Mercedes. Besides coffee, people around here grow corn, fruit, and vegetables. Every Saturday, farmers come to the open market in town to sell things they've grown. Today, some farmers are also selling cattle. Mom says about half the people in Guatemala are Mayans. Over 1,000 years ago, they built great cities all around Central America, and we can still see some of the ruins today. Archaeologists say one of the Mayan cities here in Guatemala was the biggest city in the world at that time. Mayans were here when the Spanish conquerors came 500 years ago. And most of them were killed by the Spanish or by the diseases the Spanish brought that were common in Spain, but that had never been seen here. Some Mayans survived, and a lot of their descendants live in this area. Mom says they're able to live pretty much the same way they did all those years ago. Mayans know a lot about farming. They grow maize or corn, squash, and beans together in little hills. Mayans believe that after the harvest, the land is tired, and what is taken from the earth must be returned. So just before the rainy season, they put fallen leaves and manure on the fields to feed the land and create new soil. It's like when we put coffee hulls back into the soil. Mom teaches school for a half day and then picks me up to go home. When we get home, I change out of my school clothes. Then we all have dinner together. My uncle and 2 cousins are visiting us for a few days. Today we're having sausage and rice with beans, tortillas, and juice. Guatemalans eat corn tortillas or tamales at almost every meal. Mom says when we eat corn and beans at the same meal, it gives us protein, just like meat. We usually rest for a couple of hours after dinner, but today I want to see how the milking is going. We milk cows twice a day, at 3 in the morning and at about 2 in the afternoon. When the cows come from the stable to the milking area, their back legs are tied together so no one gets accidentally kicked. The milking goes twice as fast with a person on each side. You can see it would take some practice for me to get as good at milking as our workers are. One thing I am getting pretty good at is catching oranges. When Mom wants some fruit, Jose picks some from this tree in our front yard. I'm getting so I can catch most of the oranges he drops down. While I'm helping pick fruit, Grandma's in the kitchen getting the milk and cream ready to sell. She skims off the cream that floats to the top of the milk and puts it in little plastic bags with our farm's label on them. We also sell some whole milk. That's milk that still has the cream in it. Dad asked Mariano and I if we want to go with him while he checks on the fields. Dad says macadamias are unusual because they have nuts and blossoms on the tree at the same time. Here are nuts that are almost ripe, and these are blossoms that will grow into nuts. Macadamia nuts really have 2 shells: the soft outside green shell and the hard brown shell inside. Let me show you. First, you have to get the green shell off. That's pretty easy. But see how hard the inner shell is? We really have to watch out for our fingers. On our farm, we have a machine that takes off the outer shell. After that, we sort the nuts to separate the best ones from the not-so-good ones. Then they're spread out to dry for 2 or 3 weeks before we send them to a place that takes off the hard inner shell and sells them. If you buy macadamia nuts in a store, this is what they look like, and they're really good. Mariano and I like to throw stones into the stream that runs through our farm. This stream is important, but not just for water. Some places in Guatemala don't have electricity because they're so far from towns. But we're lucky to have a dam nearby that makes hydroelectric power. So we have electricity that's made from the streams running water. We get back to the house just before it starts to rain. That's Nawaz in the barn, sorting nuts. I like to draw when it rains. I won first prize in my class for coloring this picture. Later in the afternoon, Mariano plays the marimba with Dad. Our marimba is made out of wood. Each piece of wood makes a different note or sound when you hit it with the mallet. Then we play make-believe. We like to pretend we're radio stars. It's fun to hear our voices coming over the loudspeakers. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll really be on the radio. Grandma's still in the kitchen, but now she's making ice cream for supper. Mom brought her a custard apple to use in the ice cream. I can't wait until we eat. While we're waiting for supper, we play on the veranda. It's a great place to play if it's too rainy or dark to be in the yard. It's about 8 o'clock and time for supper. But before we sit down, my cousin wants to check out our turtle. We say a prayer to give thanks for our food.
Amen.
Tonight we're having meat patties, fried plantains, which are a kind of banana. And remember, for dessert we have Grandma's famous ice cream. After supper, we kids have a game of cards. Well, it's time to get ready for bed. Good night.
It's early morning at our house in San Marcos, Guatemala. My name is Jorge, and I have a twin brother, Marcos. We're both 9 years old. We share a room with Carlito. His mom is my sister. That means he's our nephew. But we do everything together, so he's really just like our brother. Today's Friday, and we're getting up for school. We take a shower and brush our teeth. So all we have to do is make our beds and put all our stuffed friends just where we want them. Marco and I don't look exactly alike because we're not identical twins. We're fraternal twins. We were just born at the same time. We have juice blended with a little water before we leave for school. Mom and Dad drop us at school on their way to work. We go to a Catholic school that has 1,300 students. Nuns run the school, but they don't teach my class. Marco and I are in the same class, but Carlito is in a different class because he's a year younger. Our teacher greets each of us as we come into class. We start our school day with a prayer and song. Our first class is physical education. Today we're practicing football, which Marco and I love. We play on a football team almost every weekend. We're also learning how to play basketball. Some of us like to play ping pong. Our teacher says hundreds of years ago, our ancestors here in Central America played some of the first games that used a ball. Back at home, Magnolia, our housekeeper, is cleaning up the kitchen. Magnolia does cooking, cleaning, and laundry. She shops for food at the big open market in the center of the city. Farmers in this area grow lots of different kinds of fruits and vegetables all year long. That's because we live in mountains where it never gets too hot or too cold. Fruits like bananas and pineapples only grow along the coast where it's always hot. Maize or corn can grow everywhere. Tortillas and tamales are made with maize. While I'm at school, Mom and Dad are at work. Dad's a doctor, and he and Mom own a clinic with a pharmacy. Dad uses all kinds of instruments to find out what's wrong with his patients. This man has a kidney stone that Dad can see with his scanner that uses sound waves. If someone needs medicine, Dad writes a prescription, and the patient can get the medicine at the pharmacy Mom runs in the same building. Back at school, our teacher's going over a lesson about the kinds of things that live in different environments, like the bacteria that live in the soil, or green plants called algae that live in the water. When we have recess, I go to the snack shop for something to eat, but it's not so easy to get to the counter if you're in one of the lower grades, like me. After recess, our class pushes back the chairs in our classroom so we can practice dancing. We're getting ready for a school festival to celebrate Family Day, and our class will be dancing at the festival. Most people here like to dance, or sing, or play an instrument. After dance practice, we each give a short talk to the class. I'm telling a story I read about a boy whose mother yells at him for eating too much. Our classes are finished at 1 o'clock. Then another group of students will come in for their classes and stay until 5 o'clock. After school, a van picks us up and takes us to Mom and Dad's clinic. It's time for dinner. and Mom and Dad like the family to eat together. So the whole family comes to the clinic to eat with us. After dinner, everyone goes back to work. But Carlito, Marcos, and I stay at the clinic until Mom and Dad are ready to go home. We read and do our homework or play around while they work. Sometimes Dad lets me watch when he tries to figure out why a patient doesn't feel well. Dad says our ancestors hundreds of years ago already knew a lot about how to heal people. They used all kinds of plants for medicines. He said Mayans used human hair to sew up cuts and knew how to make casts for broken bones. They could even repair teeth. After work, we go to our friend's house for a visit. We kids spend most of our time outside, playing football. Dad takes a turn playing with us too. See? He's trying to block a goal. When it gets dark, we come inside to sing and have a snack.
Fosforito, marico, ia-ia-o. Chupa huevos con limón, ia-ia-o. Chupa por aquí, chupa por allá, chupa y chupa.
Tomorrow is Saturday and we have a busy day. See you then. It's Saturday morning and I'm having my guitar lesson. Marco's learning to play the drums with the same teacher. Carlito's taking keyboard lessons from a different teacher. We're all learning how to read music. Pretty soon we can have a band. When we get home, we practice a dance routine we made up to reggaeton music. Carlito has a cold, so today he takes care of the music instead of dancing. Anita says reggaeton is a mixture of Jamaican and Latin American music. We love it. After we practice for a while, Anita gives us some suggestions on how we can improve. Well, it's Saturday and it's game time. Can you find us? I'm number 11 and Marco's number 4. Carlito still can't play today because of his cold. Dad coaches our team. We won 11-5. After dinner, some friends come for a visit. Everyone likes to hear Dad and my grandpa play the marimba together. Grandpa's 83, and he's still a great player. He's teaching us to play too. I guess you can tell that Guatemalans really like music, especially the marimba. It's our national instrument. Tomorrow is Sunday, and our school is having a festival to celebrate Family Day. See you then. It's Sunday, and it's time to go to the Family Day festival. My class is going to do the dances we practice in school. Only this time we'll wear our best clothes. All of her parents and friends will be coming. You've already seen us dance, but some of the other classes are doing different dances, and some are doing plays, or singing and playing music. The show is 4 hours long, and if we get hungry, we can go outside and get something to eat at the food table. After the festival, we go to a restaurant for dinner to celebrate Family Day. Our whole family's here. When we get home, it's time to get ready for bed because we have school tomorrow. But first, we get to watch a movie about the Loch Ness Monster. Anita turns off the TV and lights when it's time to go to sleep. Good night.